The internet was thrown into disbelief when a shocking rumor began circulating, claiming that a DNA test had allegedly uncovered a betrayal involving Yandy Smith, and that Mendeecees Harris was finally forced to confront a truth he never expected. What began as quiet whispers in fan circles quickly exploded into a viral storm, with headlines suggesting that a DNA result changed everything Yandy and Mendeecees had built together. Fans who once praised their loyalty, resilience, and ability to survive chaos together suddenly questioned whether that foundation was ever as solid as it appeared. The word betrayal began trending alongside Yandy's name, and the internet split instantly between disbelief and suspicion. According to online speculation, the alleged DNA test wasn't just about biology. It symbolized trust, honesty, and years of unanswered questions. Fans revisited old episodes, past arguments, and moments where tension once felt unexplained, now viewing them through a darker lens. People began asking whether Mendeecees had been living with doubts longer than anyone realized, and whether Yandy had been carrying a secret she never intended to reveal. The idea that a test could expose something hidden shook viewers who believed their relationship was built on transparency after everything they had already survived. What made the situation even more explosive was the claim that Mendeecees didn't stay quiet this time. Rumors suggested he finally spoke up, allegedly feeling blindsided and humiliated by what the results implied. Fans speculated that his reaction, whether emotional or controlled, reflected a man realizing that trust, once broken, is nearly impossible to repair. Meanwhile, Yandy's online presence reportedly shifted. Her usual confidence appeared replaced with a more guarded energy, which only fueled speculation further. Supporters rushed to defend her, insisting the rumors lacked proof, while others argued that DNA tests don't lie, even when people do. Silence, once again, became the loudest sound in the room. Neither side rushed to confirm details, and that pause allowed imagination to run wild. Some fans believe the story is exaggerated, just another attempt by the internet to tear down a strong woman. Others feel there's too much smoke for there to be no fire at all. What most agree on is that if a DNA test truly forced this conversation, it represents a breaking point far deeper than past arguments or rumors. Now, a devastating question hangs in the air. If trust was shattered by proof, can this relationship survive? Or was this the moment everything finally fell apart? To understand why this alleged DNA test rumor shook people so deeply, fans say you have to look at the long road that led here. Yandy Smith and Mendeecees Harris didn't build their relationship in calm conditions. Their story was forged through public scrutiny, legal battles, long separations, and relentless commentary from viewers who questioned everything from loyalty to motives. When Mendeecees was incarcerated, Yandy became the face of commitment, handling family responsibilities, business ventures, and public judgment all at once. Fans watched her show up repeatedly, and over time, that loyalty became central to how she was perceived. That's why the idea of betrayal, especially one tied to something as definitive as a DNA test, felt like a complete reversal of the narrative many believed. According to speculation circulating online, the alleged test wasn't about shock value alone. It reopened questions that some fans believe never fully disappeared. Over the years, there were moments on screen where trust seemed strained, arguments that felt unfinished, conversations that stopped short of clarity, and expressions that hinted at doubts neither wanted to voice publicly. Most viewers brushed those moments aside, assuming the couple had already survived worse. But once rumors of a DNA test surfaced, people began reinterpreting old scenes, wondering whether unresolved tension had been quietly building beneath the surface all along. DNA rumors hit differently because they suggest proof, not opinion. In the public imagination, a test represents certainty in a world full of speculation. Even without confirmation, the idea alone can dismantle trust because it implies someone felt unsure enough to seek verification. Fans began asking uncomfortable questions. What triggered the decision to test in the first place? Was there a conversation that led to it? Or did doubt grow quietly until it demanded answers? Those unanswered questions fueled endless theories across social media. Supporters of Yandy pushed back immediately, reminding everyone that rumors often distort reality. They argued that loyalty doesn't erase the right to privacy, and that even publicly discussing a DNA test crosses a line. Many emphasized that strong women are often targeted with betrayal narratives when they no longer fit comfortable stereotypes. To them, this story felt less like truth and more like an attempt to undermine a woman who has consistently carried her family through public storms. Others took a different stance, not accusing, but questioning. They argued that doubt doesn't appear out of thin air. Pointing to the immense pressure both partners have faced, they suggested that stress, distance, and unresolved conflict can slowly erode trust, even in committed relationships. From that perspective, the rumor wasn't proof of wrongdoing, but a symptom of strain, a sign that something had gone unaddressed long enough to become suspicion. What intensified everything was how quiet both sides remained as the story spread. There was no immediate clarification to anchor the conversation. Without that anchor, fans filled the gaps with their own logic. Old interviews were clipped, past arguments replayed, and comments once ignored were treated as foreshadowing. The internet has a way of turning hindsight into evidence, especially when a rumor suggests confirmation through science. Emotionally, the idea of betrayal cut deep because of what Yandy represents to many viewers. She symbolizes sacrifice, endurance, and standing by family through adversity. For fans who admired that image, the rumor felt almost personal, like watching a belief crumble. For others who always felt uneasy about how much she carried alone, the story reinforced their concern that imbalance can quietly poison trust over time. Mendeecees' rumored reaction added yet another layer. Stories claimed he spoke up after the alleged test, not out of anger, but out of hurt, feeling blindsided by implications he never expected to face. Whether exaggerated or misunderstood, that framing shifted sympathy for some viewers, who began seeing him as someone confronting uncertainty rather than making accusations. Again, without confirmation, perception did most of the work. As the rumor continued to circulate, the narrative stopped being about the test itself and became about the fragility of trust. Fans debated whether relationships can survive doubt once it reaches the point of needing proof. Some argued that seeking clarity can be an act of responsibility. Others insisted that the act alone signals a fracture that's difficult to repair. Those debates kept the story alive, even as facts remained scarce. Now, the situation sits in a tense middle ground. Nothing has been confirmed publicly, but the idea alone has already reshaped how many people view the relationship. The relationship, that's the power of rumor when it touches on identity, loyalty, and proof. Whether this story fades quietly or demands answers later, it has already forced a reckoning in the public mind about trust, privacy, and how easily belief can turn into doubt when silence meets speculation. Once the rumor crossed from fan pages into mainstream conversation, the emotional fallout unfolded at a speed neither side could control. What people noticed first was the shift in tone surrounding Yandy Smith. Her online presence became noticeably more guarded, less performative, as if she were measuring every move with caution. To supporters, this felt like the reaction of someone protecting her family and her peace. To skeptics, it felt like avoidance. That split perception became the foundation for how the internet began rewriting the story in real time. In moments like this, silence isn't neutral. It becomes a canvas for assumption, and people paint it with whatever colors their bias provides. Meanwhile, speculation around Mendeecees Harris intensified. Rumors suggested he was grappling privately with shock, hurt, and disbelief, emotions that fans interpreted in wildly different ways. Some saw a man finally confronting doubts he'd carried quietly, while others believed the story exaggerated his reaction to create a more dramatic arc. Because there was no verified statement, every alleged detail, how he felt, what he said, whether he confronted Yandy, was filtered through secondhand retellings that grew more definitive with each repost. The lack of clarity didn't slow the conversation. It accelerated it. As the rumor gained traction, online backlash followed a familiar pattern. Comment sections filled with polarized takes, each side convinced they were defending the truth. Supporters of Yandy argued that DNA test narratives are often weaponized to undermine women who hold power and independence. They emphasized how quickly public admiration can flip into suspicion, especially when a woman's strength no longer fits a comfortable narrative. To them, the rumor wasn't about evidence, it was about punishing a woman for being resilient in a space that often demands vulnerability as proof of authenticity. Others took a more critical view, not declaring guilt but questioning transparency. They argued that when trust erodes to the point of doubt, the relationship itself becomes the story. For these viewers, the alleged test symbolized unanswered questions rather than betrayal. They debated whether seeking certainty is inherently wrong or whether it reflects deeper cracks that deserve attention. This perspective didn't accuse Yandy outright, but reframed the situation as a relationship reckoning rather than a character attack. What truly rewrote the narrative overnight was how quickly old footage resurfaced. Fans clipped scenes from past seasons, replaying moments that once felt minor and reinterpreting them as foreshadowing. A pause in conversation became a sign of secrecy. A tense look became suspicion. Words spoken years earlier were reframed as clues. This retroactive storytelling is powerful because it feels like discovery. Even when built on selective memory, once those clips circulated, they hardened opinions. People weren't reacting to the present anymore. They were reacting to a reconstructed past. Reaction channels amplified the shift. Titles framed the rumor as revelation, even while disclaimers acknowledged a lack of confirmation. That contradiction didn't slow engagement, it boosted it. Viewers clicked for interpretations rather than facts, and commentary began to outweigh evidence. Emotional language replaced careful phrasing, and soon the rumor felt established simply because it was everywhere. This is how online consensus forms. Repetition creates familiarity, and familiarity becomes belief. The backlash also exposed how differently audiences process uncertainty. Some demanded immediate statements, arguing that transparency would end speculation. Others insisted that privacy should be respected, warning that rushing to explain could cause more harm than good. These conflicting expectations trapped both parties in a no-win situation. Speaking risked misinterpretation. Staying quiet risked narrative loss. Every hour without clarity strengthened the loudest voices, not the most accurate ones. Emotionally, the situation struck a chord because it touched on themes many people know intimately: trust, doubt, and the fear of being misjudged. Viewers projected their own experiences onto the story, intensifying reactions. Those who had faced false assumptions felt protective of Yandy. Those who had experienced uncertainty in relationships empathized with Mendeecees. This projection transformed celebrity rumor into personal debate, ensuring the story's longevity. As days passed, the conversation evolved from shock to analysis. Fans began asking what the rumor revealed about public relationships rather than whether it was true. They discussed how fame magnifies doubt and how privacy erodes under constant scrutiny. The idea that a single unverified claim could reshape perception became a talking point itself. People questioned why certainty is demanded from public figures while ambiguity is rarely tolerated. Behind the scenes, many speculated that both sides were choosing restraint over reaction, hoping the storm would pass. That restraint, however, allowed the internet to finalize its own version of events. Once a narrative sets, it doesn't disappear quietly. It lingers, ready to resurface with a next headline or hint. The alleged DNA test became less important than what it symbolized, a fracture between public image and private reality. By the end of this phase, the story had transformed. It was no longer just about a rumor. It was about how quickly belief shifts when silence meets speculation. Fans had rewritten the relationship overnight, assigning motives, outcomes, and emotional truths without confirmation. Whether accurate or not, those rewritten narratives became part of the cultural memory surrounding the couple. Insiders suggested that long, uncomfortable conversations took place, conversations not meant for sound bites or headlines. These weren't arguments fueled by anger, but slow, difficult discussions about trust, perception, and how easily doubt can creep in when pressure never stops. The alleged DNA test narrative, whether exaggerated or misunderstood, forced a deeper reckoning about boundaries and communication. It raised questions that can't be answered with a single statement. How do you rebuild confidence once suspicion has been introduced? How do you protect a family when the world demands explanations it may never be entitled to? One of the most challenging realizations was that even silence had become a strategy requiring careful thought. Speaking risked validating a rumor. Staying quiet risked letting it harden into accepted truth. Advisors on both sides reportedly weighed every possible outcome, understanding that in the digital age, clarification doesn't always end speculation. It can restart it. This tension made restraint feel necessary, even when it was deeply uncomfortable. Choosing not to speak wasn't about hiding. It was about survival in a moment where every word could be weaponized.